What is good, you guys? It's Lifestyle from lifestyledid.com, and in today's video I'm going to be showing you guys how to make 808s from scratch. Today we're going to focus on the short, quick, distorted 808s that you would hear in something like dababy's music. So let's get into it. So we have three different plugins we're going to use to design the 808, and the reason I'm using three is because one is native to FL, so it's free, everyone will have it. A lot of people have Serum, and then Kick 2 is another great synthesizer VST that you can use to create 808s and kicks. So let me show you some examples of kind of what we're going to create today. So I have three different 808s. The first one was created in Kick 2, second in Serum, third in the 808's. So this is a style that we're going to be creating today. So I'm going to show you guys a few examples. Let's go to the second one. And then the third one, and this one was the one from Serum. So they're all pretty similar, but you could definitely hear that the one from 808's sounds great because we're just using sine waves and then processing them with different distortions, messing with attack, sustain, release, and we get different tones and different sounds. So let's go ahead from scratch in the 3 oscillator and let's make one. We're going to add in a whole new instance of it, and all we're going to do is focus on this first oscillator. So I'm actually going to take this and pitch it all the way down, and I'm going to go lower C on my keyboard. It's probably going to be pretty hard to hear because there's going to be really no distortion going on. So really all I'm doing for this is just creating a basic sine wave, right? And I'm playing at low C on my keyboard. So if you need to go in and use piano roll, we'd be down here, right? But I have a MIDI keyboard, so we're going to use that. So all I'm going to do from this is get myself a nice sine wave. So this is going to be the chain we're using. I'll explain that later. But I'm just going to link it into here. I'm going to go into Edison. I'm just going to record this nice sine wave into there, and then we're going to go ahead and mess with it from there. Right, so I want it kind of short, so I'm going to make sure that it's not too long. We don't need that much to work with for this style. If we want to make longer 808s, we can go ahead and do that. But for this style, it's going to be shorter. So let's go ahead and just do a fade out like this, and let's see how this sounds so far. Cool, that's about the length I want it to be. Now what we're going to do next is create a click in the beginning of it on purpose, and then we're going to use EQ to take that out later. So what I'm going to do is actually just boost up this first part of the 808 to give it kind of like bite, right? And there's a lot of ways to do this, and the way we're doing it is going to create that click I'm talking about, but I want to do that on purpose because I'm going to EQ it out anyways. So what I need to do is I'm going to count over a couple phase cycles. So let's go over by about 4, and before the next phase cycle starts, we're going to zoom in very, very close. And we're just going to look and see. You see there's a line running right here. We're going to look for where the phase cycle's in the middle. So I actually need to make this a bit bigger. Trying to look for that little green line. Actually, it's about right here. So that's about right in between the phase cycles, right? And what I'm going to do is press Alt-A, and I'm just going to bring this up by a tiny bit, right? Just get it a little bit louder than the beginning. So let's do that again. Let's bring it up a tiny bit more. It's going to look kind of weird, and it's going to sound a little bit weird. But let me show you what this sounds like now. So I'm going to take this, and I'm going to put it on its own track, and we're going to call this, let me see, 808 tutorial 1. Okay, so this is what we have so far, right? First thing I want to do is just normalize it, and now it's normalized, and then we're going to go ahead and bring this into a mixer track. But let me just show you what it would sound like in this chain already, and then we'll go ahead and explain what I did for this chain. So let's just play this. That already sounds amazing. So in this chain, what we have it running through is EQ to take out that high end because I added that click. So I just kind of got rid of the click, and then we used decapitator, fruity fast distortion, another instance of parametric EQ, and a limiter. But we're going to run through this from scratch. So let's go ahead and put it in its own mixer track, right? And then let's just go ahead and put a note down for it. So the first thing I want to do is get rid of that click I created on purpose. So I'm just going to take an EQ, and I'm just going to cut everything out, right? Because we're just using the sub. So now we don't hear that anymore. So that's good. The next thing I want to do is add some type of saturation to it. So whatever saturations you have, I recommend getting decapitator because it's amazing. But we're going to go ahead and throw a decapitator on it and then choose a setting. So let's go ahead and see how this sounds. I want to push it kind of hard. Let's choose a style. So what I'm actually doing is play it on my keyboard so I can run through them quicker. That's sounding good. Now we're creating some of that upper harmonic content. I want to actually go accent that a little bit. Let's create a disgusting 808. That's sounding good so far. And then let's get fruity fast distortion, and let's get just a lot of crunch out of it, and then back it off. Okay, that's sounding good so far. And then the next thing, or actually, you know what, let's try this. Let's super distort it and then EQ it out. And we're gonna get like a mid-range bite when we do this. So let me show you what I mean. So we'll try this real quick, and then let's go just actually EQ this out. And we're gonna use a high cut and just take out the sizzle that's at the top of this. So let's see. Just about getting creative and creating something cool. You see what happens when we start to, you know, make this more steep. Can really get creative and make something wild. Let's go ahead and try this. What we're gonna do is actually fade it out just a tiny bit, and then let's go ahead and try it in with the drums. So let's copy over this 808 into this pattern, and let's take this 808 off and just have the drums playing like this. That sounds good. So let's take that 808 and then run it through the old chain that I had over here and see which one we like better. Let's try it in this one. You could run it through multiple different chains and kind of figure out, you know, which one you like the best. So that was with 808's. Let's go ahead and create one in Serum. So we'll go over here, synth, and we'll go into Serum. And we're going to use the subsection of Serum. So let's turn off oscillator A. We're going to use subsection. Let's bring it down by 3 octaves. That's the tone I want. And then let's add distortion to it to kind of give it a bit of life and some harmonics from the jump. And let's bring this out. Let's turn the drive up, mix down. Let's see. Cool, and I just want to use a little bit of the distortion that's in the plugin so that I can, you know, just kind of hear the harmonics and then export it with that. So let's go over here to our envelope and let's bring out our release, and let's turn down decay, sustain, like this. Probably have like a 2 to 3 second release, and let's see what this sounds like. So we could just hit C. Want it a bit shorter. You can see the difference from 808's and then Serum, right? Because we can actually edit the envelope from right here. And we could have done it inside of, if we were to go here, we could edit the envelope in there as well. In Serum, it's actually just built in to the plugin, so it's cool. We could sit here and like actually visualize it. So let's just drag this around, find something we like. So if we wanted it longer, right, to hold out. But like I said, we're going to create a short one for this. So let's go something like this. I'm going to change this distortion. That sounds good. And I'm going to put a noise on it. So some type of noise to have in the background. And it's actually going to create it to sound really cool. So let's just layer something. Let's see. You know how the spins kind of has that reverby like crash or like some type of like white noise in the background on the spins? We're going to try to just kind of recreate that just a tiny bit. Cool, and we'll have it kind of loud because again, we'll go ahead and EQ that out. So this sounds good. Let's go over, link it in here, and let's take an EQ and just take some of this high end out, and you'll see what I'm saying, how we're going to take out some of that white noise we added. Cool, it's just in the background. It sounds really nice. I like that. Let's try a high cut just to see what it would sound like. bit more aggressive. I like that. Let's go ahead and record that into Edison. Perfect. Let's take this out, trim it up a little bit. Let's go over here, just like that. And then let's go ahead and flip the phase so it's running nicely. So where is it at? Reverse phase, and then Control A. Let's bring the volume up a tiny bit, a little bit more. It's probably going to be too short. I think this will be fine. All right, now let's name this. What do we have the first one named? Let's call this 808 tutorial 2. And let's go ahead and mess with this one. So let's go to new channel. And let's just try it in some of our chains. So let's drop it in this chain that we already have and see what it sounds like. Let's drop it in this one. Oh, I like them both. And let's run it through this chain. That one's more aggressive, but I think I like this one. Yeah, that one sounds cool. All right, so the last one we're going to create it in is actually going to be kick 2. So let's go get that opened up. Let's go to kick 2. This is it by standard. What I'm going to do is actually take these all out, and I just want to have it run straight across. So let's bring this to G1. And then over here, we're going to drag it down to C, which is going to be about 33 hertz. It's 32.7 hertz, I believe, like exactly C. So this is going to be good. So let's take out the clicks. Let's mute all this so we just have the sub. Right, and this one's a bit easier too. It's very easy to see what you're doing. So we can actually adjust the length from here. If we want it really long, or if we want it short, we just mess with length. Right. This is about the length we made the rest of them. And then we can go over to distortion and we can mess with tube, clip, and wave. So let's go into tube and see what it sounds like. That's aggressive. Clip is aggressive too. I like tube. Tube sounds good. And then let's go over to our amp knob and we can start to mess with the amp. So you could start to shape it, right? Let's see. It's better to have a longer 808 and fade it later than have a short one that you can't extend. Cool, that sounds good. So let's go ahead and put that into its own track. So over here, kick 2, and let's record that into Edison, just like this. That sounds good. So that's by itself through the first chain and the second one. So let's go in this one and take out this high end that we added in. Let's bring this up. With the drums. These are all so disgusting and aggressive. Let's run it through a bit of clip just to see. Might sound nasty. Yeah, it sounds gross. But you can get so creative with this and create so many cool 808s. This tutorial was just on those short, distorted, very aggressive 808s. And if you guys want me to cover more, drop a comment down below. All right, thank you guys so much for watching. If you did like the video, leave a thumbs up. You guys can follow me on all social medias at LifestyleDidIt. Make sure to hit my site, lifestyledidit.com, for everything else. Other than that, subscribe to your boy, push notifications. Thanks.